Hi, everyone. Hi, YouTube. If you're following this over Facebook, hi. I'll post it up there later. Unsettling news today. 4,249 new cases. Highest ever level of testing. And I said this on my Facebook feed. I said this was going to be a good one. I hope so. Because I've had some friends, I've had some people I know who have said to me, I've been saying conversation online, I've been saying cases aren't going down, they're going to keep going up. If you see my previous videos, I've been saying we're going to be at 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 cases. And now we're there, and people are going, well, I was hoping to go down. Looks like you were right. I take no joy in that, and I'm not the only one saying it. Quite a few people are saying that the case numbers are not going to go down; they're going to keep going up, and they will. We had today again 4,249, and take note that 450 of those were banked. Those were cases from previous old cases that hadn't previously been reported. And they were held back for whatever reason, and I guess they cashed them in today, because without those 450, we wouldn't have breached the 4,000 mark, which is psychologically, you kind of get accustomed to hearing 3,000, 3,000, 3,000, the same way we got accustomed to hearing 2,000, 2,000, 2,000. And let's face it, if you look at the numbers, less than 2% of Canadians have tested positive for COVID-19, for SARS-CoV-2, the virus. Less than 2%. I think it's 1.69, so call it 1.7% of Canadians have tested positive. I'm jokingly saying, that, at this rate, in 75 years, we will all have tested positive. It doesn't play to the alarmist messaging that you should be used to by now, especially if you tune into the nightly news. Alarming, frightening, scary numbers out of Toronto, Vancouver, Calgary, whatever the case may be. We're supposed to be scared, terrified, worried. That's what the news is telling us to be. I'm not, because I expected it. And tell you right now, I'm expecting the numbers to, previously I've been saying, 6,000, 7,000 cases a day by the time January rolls into February. I think it's even a good chance we could be seeing 10,000 or more, because there are two things that go into it. Previously, I've been talking about the number of tests. Today, we had the most ever tests ever done in Ontario, over 71,000 used to generate 4,249 cases. The province has stated its goal to get that number up to 100,000. So that's one component. You do more tests, you're going to find more cases. Number two, something I've also talked about before, but not in gross detail. Barbara Yaffe, Ontario's Associate Chief Medical Health Officer, during a press conference with Doug Ford, told the world, it's on YouTube, was on all the newscasts, and she said that, if you're testing in an area with very little COVID, you're going to get false positives almost half the time. Now, why, you might ask, why do you get false positives? And the reason is simple. It sounds complicated, but it's really quite simple. These PCR tests use something called amplification cycles. Basically, what they do is they keep amplifying the sample that they're searching, that they're looking for SARS-CoV-2, for viral RNA. And they keep amplifying it. And if you read the New York Times back on October 29th, they did an article quoting experts from Harvard's School of Public Medicine. And the Harvard experts were saying that the threshold where you should stop the amplifications is at between 30 and 35. Because after that, all you're getting is, you could be getting some other type of coronavirus. You could be getting dead viral RNA from an infection that's months, in the past, someone who's not sick, not infectious anymore. But now I've read Well, I already knew that the amplification cycles, both in the United States and here, were set at 40, and now I've seen reports that it's gone up to 45. So you want to goose the numbers. Just, do more tests, increase the number of amplification cycles, and you can get lots more positives. I feel really bad for the people in Northern Ontario. Northern Ontario has some fairly populous cities. You've got Thunder Bay, Sault Ste. Marie, Sudbury. They're all, each and every one of those cities is at least 100,000+. Then you got North Bay at 60,000 people. Timmins, that's 30,000, 40,000 people. Some decent population centers, and they have a grand total of 11, I think it is. I'm not going to go back and check. You can check yourself if you want on the Province of Ontario's COVID portal page. There's hardly anyone in hospital in Northern Ontario, but their lockdown has been extended. You have to laugh. You have to laugh. And I'm going to get to that later because there's something very important in all this, and that's stress. And I'll get on to that later. But, so when you see the numbers start to go up to 4, well, we're at 4, and when we get to 5, 6, 7,000, and I will not be surprised if it's 10,000 plus by the end of the month. Don't be alarmed, okay? Because testing levels are high, amplification thresholds are high, so they're going to find lots of cases. This isn't people who are always sick. It's just they've tested positive using a test that was never actually designed to be the diagnostic tool. It wasn't supposed to be, it's supposed to be a component of a diagnosis. It's not supposed to be a diet, end all and be all. But, this is where we are. So, we're bringing in new measures. We're going to have, trust me, we are going to be under curfew I think it's Saturday, tomorrow, starting in Quebec. They will be under curfew, 5 a.m. You can't go out of your house until 5 o'clock in the morning, from 8 p.m. at night until 5 a.m. You'll be allowed out if you're essential. If you're an essential person, you can be out. If you're out for an essential reason, you can be out of your house. But for your own personal well-being or anything of that nature, not allowed. Welcome to, it's martial law without martial law actually being declared. I mean, it was funny, at the beginning of the pandemic, there was talk of bringing in what they call the Extreme Measures Act, which basically means the suspension of habeas corpus. Police powers beyond anything that we're used to. And even without the Extreme Measures Act having been invoked, this is the world we're living in. So is the goal of these measures to reduce the number of cases? No, the number of cases is going to keep going up no matter what. Don't expect that, okay, good, they're finally doing a lockdown, a hard lockdown, they're putting everyone under curfew. That'll drop the cases. No, that's not, it's an opinion, and I would pray to God I'm wrong. But I don't think I am. The case numbers are going to keep going up and up and up, because if the case numbers start to go down, then we get our freedoms back, right? Then we can gather again, and we can go to church, our kids can go to school. And that's, I'm here to tell you, my opinion, that's not the goal. I'm just reading through my notes. I mean, why are the cases going to keep going up? Well, again, because they're going to keep ramping up the number of tests, and they're going to, keep nice high amplification threshold to ensure that among those positives, what they just call them cases. There are lots of false positives, but they don't break it down. They don't say, well, we had 300 cases that only took 20 people are highly infectious. They don't tell you that, because that would diminish fear. And fear is a great means of control. Plus, something I've been sharing, took an eyeball at the flights coming into Toronto tomorrow, and we all know this. We've got 27 flights coming in from the United States alone, from 14 different cities. There's 27 flights. Then we have 44 flights, by my count, 44 flights coming in from 27 different countries. So between the United States and overseas, that's 71 flights coming from all over. We got 4 flights from Jamaica, 5 flights from the Dominican, 3 from London, England. Fort Lauderdale has 2, Fort Myers has 4. Mexico, we got six flights coming in. And we all know this. We know that our elected officials and public officials, government high-ranking officials, someone on the government's COVID health table, they're all flying down south. They're going down to St. Bart's, to Jamaica, to Mexico, to the Dominican. They're not worried, and it's easier to handle the stress for some than others. I mean, obviously, someone sitting on the health table, they know what's going on. The rest of us, we're the schlubs. We're doing as they're told, not going down to Aruba, Jamaica, Dominican. Good little boys and girls, the way they want us to be. And so I don't want to go on too long because I know no one will watch it. There's Candy in the back, lounged out on the couch. That's the way to be, because my final message is about managing your stress. You do not need, I've said it many times, I have no degrees in epidemiology, virology, or infectious disease. I've never taken postgraduate science courses, just, I've got some undergraduate science, but very little. I like to think I have a fair dosage of, or fair degree of common sense. And what I'm about to say is common sense. I mean, we all know that, should know that stress is a major killer. Sometimes it's called the silent killer. Our body is wonderfully, the human body is wonderfully designed, incredibly designed, and stress is actually a good thing in the short term. It triggers the fight or flight response. We get adrenaline, we get, we can stay up longer and that kind of thing. And over the short haul, stress is very positive. Over the long haul, and especially now, we've been undergoing this for months and months and months, and we're not all in the same boat. I'm fortunate in that I hate the word essential. I hate that word because every human being is essential, but we've determined that some people are essential and some are not. And so for someone losing their business, who's had their income taken away, it's a little hard just to shrug it off. Oh, it ain't that bad. Go bake some bread. That's not going to cut it. And if any one of my friends on Facebook, if you ever need to chat, want to have a live conversation, I'm more than willing to talk to you. That's for people I know. But if you've gone to university and you've been there around exam time, you'll know what stress does. I mean, a lot of students stress out extremely over exams, and for good reason. I mean, for many, their dreams of being a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, professor, whatever the endeavor is, and so much is riding on this exam, on getting a good mark, on going forward with their career goals and aspirations. And so stress can be quite heightened, not for a short time, but for weeks on end. And then quite often what you'll find is at the end, once the exams end, a lot of people fall ill, especially those who live in dormitories, who live in residence at university, where pathogens, there's all kinds of bacteria, germs, viruses floating around all the time. And most of the time, our immune systems can deal with it. But after we've been under heightened stress for a while, like a student living in a residence dormitory, in a university setting, they're in this dormitory, great petri dish for pathogens, germs, bacteria, viruses to float around, and people get sick. And there's gastrointestinal, there's streps, streptococcus, all kinds of different ones. And you want a healthy immune system. And maintaining a healthy immune system at this time is hard, especially when you consider that so many of the recommended ways to alleviate stress, right now they've been declared, they're illegal. One is, I'm just reading off the United Brain Association. 2019 article about stress, the silent killer. And these are things we all know. One of the ways to alleviate stress is physical activities. Physical activity. Studies have shown that physical activity helps to reduce the impact of chronic stress by improving sleep, reducing physical tension, and stabilizing mood. Of course, the reason a lot of people join fitness studios, gyms, dance clubs, what have you, is because if you could exercise at home, you do it, but you need that extra motivation. And now with a looming curfew and the talk of, you're only going to be allowed to be out of your house if you're doing something like going to the grocery store or going to work, if you're lucky enough to be essential. Then there are relaxation activities. At least this can be done during lockdown. You got activities such as meditation, yoga, can't go to a yoga class, breathing techniques or massage, forget that, can significantly reduce stress, but less formal, pleasurable activities such as mentally stimulating hobbies can help too, bread making. Social activity, well, forget that. Being with friends and family in an enjoyable setting is a proven stress reducer. Now you can't even have people over. Good nutrition and sleep habits, eat well, sleep well, avoid tobacco, alcohol, caffeine, and other drugs, which, avoid these things that have all been declared essential because we want to lower, we want to flatten the curve. No, we don't. And professional help. So many of the avenues available to help you alleviate your stress are now illegal. And things they tell you to avoid, drugs and alcohol, well, the booze, the beer store, liquor store, cannabis dispensaries, those are essential. This is not going to stop. All right. And some people are going to take it to they're going to take it to the street, I expect. I'm not encouraging that. It's just, you look at what's happening and, if you've got a brain, if it starts to rain, things get wet. If you start locking people down, putting curfews on them, there's going to be a breaking point, I expect. Maybe I'm wrong. Time will tell. But I, for one, I haven't attended any lockdown protests or anything of that nature. I got enough on my plate already. But I certainly haven't begrudged those who have been going out. I've actually applauded them. Good for them. It's a free and democratic society. What's left of it? I've been jokingly putting some posts up on Facebook, tongue firmly in cheek, saying, we got to go full Soviet. We got to go full China if we're going to stop this thing. The ironic thing is some people are like, yeah, he's right. That's what we got to do. There are those, unfortunately, fear does that to people. George Carlin did a great video. Check it out sometime. He said, Americans, he's an American. He was talking to Americans. He said, Americans, we frighten easily, and we're always willing to trade off a little more of our freedom for the perception, the illusion of safety. Cases are going to keep going up. Okay, we got flights coming in. As I said, 71 flights coming in from 27 different countries. Actually, 28 because the United States is a different country. So we've got 71 flights coming in, and then we've got NHL hockey has been deemed essential. And that Amazon, even though they've got 400 cases at their Toronto area, did I say Costco or Amazon? It's Amazon. Amazon's 3 fulfillment centers around the Toronto's Pearson Airport. It's been reported in the National Post, 400 plus cases of those. It's not shutting down. The main drivers of these cases, plus with increased testing levels, and putting the application cycles up to 40, 45 when they should be at 30 or no more, certainly no more than 35. Case numbers are going to keep going up and up and up. And even if you're Northern Ontario, where there are only 11 people in hospital in the entire north, there's a few million people who live in Northern Ontario. The number of COVID cases is so small as to be statistically insignificant, but doesn't matter. My friends in the north, you're also going to be under curfew and lockdown and the whole bit. So if you have some comments, throw them down. We'll see if anyone watches this. Look after your stress level. One thing that helps me, faith in God. He's got this, okay? And I know that's hard for a lot of people. We live in a world where very me-centric, and you've got to be in control of everything. Well, God's got this, all right? And if you have a Bible, open it up. Start at the beginning, okay? God, the creator of heaven and earth. You think this wondrous creation came out of nothing, that this was all just luck? No. It's not luck, my friends. It's not luck. There's a plan. There's a design. And we'll understand it better when we're on the other side of the veil, and that's another thing that can bring peace, is realize nobody is going to live forever. We're all going to our reward. I speak affirmatively because this is what I believe in my heart, in my core. Can I prove it? Right. But it's there. So I'll leave you with that. God bless. Keep well. And anyway, end stream now. Bye, everyone.